This Morning, just about 8 minutes past the top of the hour on this Tuesday morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live on the phone, I welcome our Chief of Police, Paul MacDonald. Chief, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. A couple of things I want to touch on today, Chief. The first, heard about an incident over the weekend along Main Street in Hyannis at a local restaurant. Tell me a little bit about what happened here.
On Sunday, November 23rd, at about 12:45 in the morning, we received multiple 911 calls from the Embargo restaurant/bar on Main Street Hyannis regarding an individual who was brandishing a firearm at the bar. Upon our arrival, the security personnel had a person detained just outside the front door. He's up against the side wall of the building. The police officers had a conversation with them. They pat-frisked him, and they pulled out a loaded semi-automatic pistol from his waistband. Apparently what happened during the evening, he went to Embargo. He was in possession of the firearm. He had some type of verbal confrontation with the female at the bar, and he had no idea who they were not known to each other. That was quickly diffused by the security personnel. They then escorted him outside the building. Once outside the building, they were trying to detain him until we arrived. He then pulled the weapon a second time and pointed directly at them and said that he's going to assassinate all three of them. That's when the police officers rolled up on the scene, and they quickly arrested him and charged him with multiple firearms violation and also threat by a means of a dangerous weapon. He is legally licensed to carry the firearm, but obviously bringing the firearm into a licensed liquor establishment and obviously sitting there drinking was a very poor decision.
Indeed, and whereas it may not be illegal for him to bring it into the establishment, certainly the way in which he used it was against the law.
Oh, absolutely. And since then, his license to carry has been revoked. He was being held on $1,000 cash bail, and that will be the end. Once this goes through the court system, he will be unable to carry an LTC again.
And was that firearm confiscated, Chief?
It was confiscated. We have it, and it will not be returned to him.
Indeed. Certainly, thankfully, we don't hear a lot about these incidences for sure. Is it something, I think that Embargo is a restaurant that does have a bouncer at the door late at night. Is it something that perhaps you think they're going to be checking for in the future?
But this is a rare incident. This does not happen very often. We have very few problems along Main Street Hyannis. We have a number of bar rooms there, but we have a great working relationship with them. This, I would have to say, is an isolated incident. Embargo did a great job, and they have multiple security personnel working there. So, it's a sad event. It could have been a lot worse, but thankfully it wasn't.
Absolutely. Chief, want to move on and talk a little bit about a grant that was received. This is really good news for police officers to carry Narcan. Tell me a little bit about what this grant will do for the BPD.
Well, the department applied for back in September a grant through the Department of Public Health for a grant for training and purchasing of Narcan in the amount of $32,440. As you know, there were multiple overdoses last year, starting around December, because there was a bad batch of heroin out in the street, and it was right through Barnstable County. District Attorney, the Sheriff's Department, all the police chiefs got together. At the time, police officers were not able to carry Narcan. The governor intervened. He had that rules and regulations changed from the Department of Public Health, allowing police officers to carry it. But then there was several other hurdles that we had to get through. We had to get a medical director. We had to get certification from the Department of Public Health to store Narcan in our facility. And then comes with that was the training part of Narcan and the purchase of Narcan. And we have 115 sworn officers here, which means we train them. We just can't train them in lieu of working because we still have to staff the Uniform Patrol Division, so it was going to cost us an excessive amount of overtime. The budget was already done, so we looked for different ways to fund this. So we did hear about the grant. We applied for the grant, and we're one of only 22 departments in the state that got the money. So we will be training all our personnel. But I will say right now, we already have approximately 20 officers who are trained, and we do have Narcan out in the street as we speak.
Great. And can you talk, Chief, a little bit for those viewers who may not be aware of what Narcan does, what it does do, and how it will benefit the officers to be carrying that with them?
Many times, the police department, because we're always on patrol, we are the first ones to respond to a drug overdose. The Narcan will immediately reverse the effects of an opiate. Once a person if he is overdosing, but he still is breathing, if the Narcan is administered swiftly, it will reverse the effects of it. It's almost instantaneous. But there are side effects. A lot of times when you do that, the individual, when he comes back, when he reawakens, he becomes extremely combative. And the Narcan only lasts for a certain amount of time. So if there's cocaine or heroin still in the system, there is a possibility that he still may overdose. That's why they have the policies and procedures in place that if we are there, we administer a Narcan, and if he is revived prior to rescues getting there, we have to detain him, make sure he gets in a rescue, make sure he goes to the hospital, because there still is a possibility that he will relapse, re-overdose. We just can't administer it. The individual regains consciousness, gets up and walks away. That would be that's not good.
Indeed. So how soon will these officers be trained, Chief? Is it something that's going to start right away?
We will start the training. The grant has to be accepted by the town council. Hopefully it will be accepted next week or the week afterwards. But the grant is retroactive to the date that it was announced, which is last Friday. We do have a medical director on board with us. We do have a training program that's in place and has been accepted by the training director. So we will start almost immediately. We expect by January 1st that all 115 police officers will be trained and all the cruisers will have a Narcan kit in them.
Great. Well, Chief, congratulations on receiving that grant. I know Ann Spillane does a wonderful job doing some grant writing for you guys.
She does.
So that's a wonderful thing. So, Chief, aside from the embargo incident, anything of note over the past week?
The other incident, as you know, approximately 2 weeks ago, the taxi cab, town taxi driver was robbed with a screwdriver as he pulled into Cromwell Court. Took us 2 weeks, but the subject was finally identified and was arrested up in Plymouth with his girlfriend, a gentleman identified as Stephen Rayfuse, R-A-F-U-S-E. At the time of the incident, he was staying on Spring Street. We were able to track him down using his cell phone and his girlfriend's cell phone. We tracked him to a residence in Sagamore last Friday, I believe it was last Friday morning, Friday afternoon, and we subsequently made the arrest. He was charged with it, and he's been held with $7,500 cash bail.
Indeed. Well, Chief, I thank you so much, as always, for the update, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll talk with you again next week.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Chief of Police Paul MacDonald joining us as he does each and every Tuesday morning. Again, great news that the police have received that Narcan grant, and we'll begin.